greatest mystery of life. It is a shadow that looms over us, inevitable and profound, yet shrouded in uncertainty. What happens to the essence of who we are when our bodies cease to function? Does our consciousness dissolve into nothingness, or does it transition to a new realm of existence? Today we will delve into this enigma, exploring the many theories, beliefs, and speculations that humanity has developed to address this question. The fragility of consciousness. What defines us? To begin, we must ask, what is consciousness? It is more than the sum of our thoughts, memories, and emotions. Consciousness is the awareness that allows us to perceive the world and reflect on our place within it. It feels deeply personal, almost sacred, a unique I that no one else can replicate. But is our consciousness merely a product of the brain? Neuroscience tells us that specific neural networks govern our sense of self and experience. When these networks are damaged, such as in cases of brain injury, people can lose their memories, personalities, or even their awareness of the world. This has led many to believe that consciousness is entirely tied to the brain. When the brain dies, they argue, so too does consciousness. Yet others are less convinced. The sheer complexity of consciousness, its depth, its subjective nature, and its ability to ask profound questions about existence, has led philosophers and scientists to wonder if it might be something more than just biology. The materialist perspective, consciousness as an illusion. Materialism, the dominant view in modern science, holds that consciousness arises purely from physical processes in the brain. From this perspective, death marks the end of consciousness. When the brain stops functioning, the intricate patterns of neural activity that produce our sense of self simply cease to exist. To materialists, this is not a bleak thought, but a liberating one. They argue that understanding consciousness as finite allows us to cherish the present moment. The cessation of consciousness is no different from the state before we were born, an eternal nothingness devoid of awareness. But can something as vivid and rich as consciousness simply vanish? For many, this explanation feels incomplete. The spiritual perspective, the journey beyond. In stark contrast, spiritual traditions across the world offer a different vision. They suggest that consciousness is not bound to the physical body, but is an eternal essence, often called the soul. Upon death, this essence transitions to another realm or state of being. Rebirth and reincarnation. In Hinduism and Buddhism, the soul is believed to undergo cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. This process, known as samsara, is driven by karma, the accumulation of one's actions and intentions. Death is not the end, but a transformation, with the soul continuing its journey in a new body. Cases of young children recalling vivid details of past lives have intrigued researchers and lent some credibility to this perspective. The afterlife. Many religious traditions, including Christianity and Islam, describe a soul's journey to an afterlife. This realm, whether it be heaven, hell, or purgatory, is determined by one's actions in life. These beliefs are rooted in the idea that consciousness, or the soul, transcends the physical plane, continuing in a form that reflects the moral and spiritual choices of the individual. Union with the universe. Mystical traditions like Sufism or certain branches of Taoism suggest that upon death, individual consciousness dissolves into a greater universal consciousness. This is not a loss, but a reunion, a return to the source of all existence. Near-death experiences, glimpses beyond the veil. Stories of near-death experiences, NDEs, add an intriguing layer to the discussion. Individuals who have been clinically dead but later revived often report vivid, surreal encounters. These include seeing a bright light, meeting deceased loved ones, or feeling a profound sense of peace and unity. One famous account comes from Dr. Eben Alexander, a neurosurgeon who experienced an NDE during a coma. Despite his brain showing no signs of higher activity, he described traveling through otherworldly landscapes and encountering a divine presence. Skeptics argue that these experiences can be explained by the brain's final bursts of activity, but others see them as evidence of consciousness surviving death. Consciousness and quantum theories. A science-driven mystery. Modern science has also ventured into the realm of the unknown, with quantum mechanics offering tantalizing possibilities. Theoretical physicist Sir Roger Penrose alongside anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff, proposed the orchestrated objective reduction, or OR theory. They argue that consciousness arises from quantum processes within microtubules in the brain. If true, these quantum processes might persist even after the physical body dies, allowing consciousness to exist in a different form. Another fascinating concept comes from the idea of a multiverse. Some scientists suggest that if parallel universes exist, our consciousness could transition to another universe after death. This speculative idea blurs the lines between science and philosophy, offering a potential bridge between the material and spiritual views of consciousness. The philosophical dilemma: does consciousness even end? Philosophers have long grappled with the nature of consciousness and its potential continuation. René Descartes famously posited that the mind and body are distinct, with the mind or soul existing independently of the physical form. If true, death may simply be a shedding of the body, leaving consciousness intact. On the other hand, existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre suggest that our existence is defined by our choices and actions in life. For them, the question of what happens after death is less important than how we live. Even if consciousness ends, the meaning we create in life endures. Personal accounts and cultural myths. Across cultures, myths and stories reveal humanity's deep fascination with consciousness after death. The ancient Egyptians believed the soul embarked on a perilous journey through the underworld, judged by the god Osiris. In contrast, the Aztecs envisioned different afterlives based on the manner of death, with warriors slain in battle destined to accompany the sun. Modern accounts are no less compelling. Consider people who claim to have communicated with deceased loved ones through dreams or visions. While skeptics dismiss these as products of grief-stricken minds, others believe they are genuine connections between realms. What if consciousness is something we cannot comprehend? Perhaps the greatest challenge in answering this question is the possibility that consciousness operates on principles we are not equipped to understand. Just as ants cannot grasp the concept of galaxies, we might lack the cognitive tools to comprehend what happens to consciousness after death. This mystery, far from discouraging, can be profoundly inspiring. It reminds us of the vastness of existence and the limits of human knowledge. Whether consciousness persists or fades, the fact that we can ponder these questions speaks to the extraordinary nature of being alive. Embracing the unknown, living in the face of death. In the end, what happens to our consciousness after death remains an open question, one that intertwines science, philosophy, and spirituality. But perhaps the uncertainty itself is the gift. It challenges us to live fully, to seek meaning, and to appreciate the fleeting beauty of existence. As we stand on the edge of this great unknown, we are reminded of our humanity, not in having all the answers, but in our courage to ask the deepest questions. What do you think? Could the end be a new beginning, or is it the ultimate mystery we must all embrace?